they want to know what they're doing and why. Kids ask why all the time. So if you just give them that why, then it kind of satisfies that questioning, and then they're able to kind of help build those goals along the way.
Okay, friends, let's do 4 more minutes, okay? 4 more minutes. You guys are doing a great job on your writing.
My name is Misty Hilkerbaumer. This is my 15th year teaching first grade at Osage County R-I school in Chamois.
Very good. You're trying to solve a subtraction number sentence.
I think it's important for the students to understand the learning target so that they know what they're learning, and it also helps them to know when to ask questions if they need clarification. If they don't know what they're learning, then they don't know what path that they're going on. So when we're setting goals and working with them one-on-one, they know that what the ending target is, then they can help set those goals for themselves along the way instead of me giving them all of that information. They're more active in their learning in that process.
I went over your pretest and I made some notes on some things to talk to you about. So on this pretest, we are going to be learning about subtraction strategies, and some of those strategies we have learned a little bit about, but in this chapter we're going to take them a little further, learn a few more, and work with bigger numbers. So look at your scores from yesterday and tell me, what do you notice?
I noticed I got all the sounds right, and I got all my sounds in, and I got all my trick words. And then yesterday I got over half of my real words, and my other one I got a little bit more, half one less, and then I got half on that.
Very nice. I like how that you're using the numbers and knowing that that's your halfway mark. Very nice. Can you look at this data and tell me, what are some areas that you glowed in? What were areas that you did very well and that you are proud of?
Trick words and real words.
Trick words and real words. And why are those areas that you feel proud of?
Because I finished all of them. Because I got all 20 sounds.
You did get all 20 sounds and 20 words in 20 seconds. Nice job. Okay, can you look at your data again and tell me, are there areas that you want to grow in?
This one and this one.
So you want to grow in real words and nonsense words? Okay, and what would you like your goal to be for those?
20 seconds. We do them in 20 seconds, maybe even 15.
Okay, so you want to be able to read all of those words in 20 seconds and maybe even 15 seconds? Okay.
I'm working on that before we have my house.
That is a good goal. So what can you do to make sure that you reach that goal?
By being on task when we do that stuff, when we do this.
Okay, so staying on task when we're working on those skills. What else can you do to reach your goal?
We can practice at our house.
You can practice on your own. That is a good idea. And so what I would like to add to that is when you are working on these skills, whether it's here with the Fluency Kit or during the class, just to make sure that you're continuing to tap those sounds out and think about those 3 rules. Sometimes we forget about the 1 syllable rule, but I'm glad to see that you remembered it this morning. So nice job with that. Okay, so overall, with your scores on how you did at the beginning of this unit, do you think you are a 1, 2, or 3?
I know a 2 and a 3.
Okay, so you think you're in between a 2 and a 3? And why do you think that? All right, so did you go through and check?
Yep.
Okay, point to all of your capital letters for me, please.
I do believe that they do, because we create the learning target together. So I do introduce vocabulary and I give them kind of a brief introduction to it so they know what direction we're going, and then we sit down together and we go over, okay, what are we going to do? What vocabulary were we just talking about? What do you think we need to make our learning target for this unit, chapter, whatever skill we're working on? So they're able to help me come up with those words. So the fact that they can come up with those words tells me, one, that they do have a pretty good understanding of what those words mean, but also because I will ask them. So they like to use the word strategies in math. You know, I will ask them on a regular basis, what does that mean? And the fact that they can tell me what that means, then that clarifies to me that they understand. You know that we are going to be talking about our big unit goal is place value. So we have done the vocabulary introduction. We have done the pre-assessment, and so we started the first lesson so that you can understand what place value means. So with the vocabulary, the pre-assessment, and then the activity we did today with building numbers, we need to decide what our overall learning goal for math should be for the place value unit.
All right, so looking at everything that you did on your pretest and the areas that we talked about for glowing and growing, how would you rate yourself as far as how confident you feel in learning to use subtraction strategies? So what can we do to help make sure that you meet your goal to get to a 20?
Persevere.
Oh, I like that word. What does persevere mean?
Keep on trying when things get tough.
Very good.
A lot of practice, a lot of telling them you need to have this out, but a lot of practice in using it together. So before I gave it to them or posted it up on the wall for them to use, I used it for myself. A lot of examples. This is, my writing. This is how I'm going to go back and check each one. So just a lot of exposure to it first, and then a lot of guided practice together with the kids can pick up on it very quickly. And if you give them a direction, they thrive to know what the ending goal is. I have found the RPDC guidance to be valuable because I am one of those teachers, just like with our students. I know that there are areas that I need to work on, but I need help. I need somebody to sit down with me or to give me the direction I need to go. Okay, this is what you're struggling with. Here's some things you can do, some practice you can do, and then checking back in with me to make sure. So I think that you guys do the same thing that we're doing for our students in the classroom. So I appreciate that guidance and somebody that's there that I can always contact and get help from. Misty Hilkerbaumer, and I am the heart of Missouri.